in 2017, I started talking about this and talked a little bit earlier. I saw the Vegas shooting, and I recognized if I wasn't careful, I would justify doing something like that. And then like I was getting suicidal, and when I was getting angry, it was only shame of the things I was doing that was actually curtailing my behavior. And then I would go into the shame bath for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I wouldn't leave the house except for just needing to. And I would swear I would never go or do anything again. And all of a sudden I'd be right back to it. And so the biggest, like what you're talking about, like, and I think that's the thing. And this is not the kind of work to do the criminal defense and the domestic stuff. Like 2 Christmases ago, I was, and I don't want to overshare some of these things, but they're just so meaningful. 2 Christmases ago, I went into a jail right over the Christmas break to see an 82-year-old man in a wheelchair that was there because he was accused of touching a 4-year-old. Right. And so to your point, a couple of years ago, I had a mentor, not mentor, I had a protege. I was the mentor, and I was teaching a friend of mine, female, how to practice law in the way that I do. I said, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I know how to do it. I don't know how to build a business at that point in time. One day we were walking in representing a man who was accused of touching his 10-year-old daughter. And we handled that. And it was late afternoon, was the arraignment. I mean, the energy of that courtroom. Like the deputies knew what the accusations were. They even knew what he said during the interview with the police. Like it's like these are the kind of cases people seek out to find the information, right?
Wow. And
so behind closed doors, like all the deputies know all the gory details. I just got called by the family because I'd known the family, and they're like, "We need your help, Charlie." So once we finished that, we went to the car, and my friend said, "So we're going to go for a drink now, right?" And I was like, "No, we're going down to a county south of the Richmond." And she said, "What case is that?" And I said the name of the case. And that particular case, we were representing the mother of 2 young children and trying to keep the children away from the father, who was abusing the kids, not sexually, but abusing the kids with weird having like the 5-year-old boy hold up liters of water and then whipping him if he lets the arms drop and things like that. And so that's like, and she looked at me and she said, "Charlie, do you have no nerve endings? How is it that we go from representing the man that's accused of touching his kid to representing the mother that we're trying to, within hours of each other in the same day? How do you switch from that to that?" And that's just one example. You know, you represent the father, the husband that's accused of beating up the wife, and then you go represent a different person, a female who's trying to get a protective order against her loved one. Like, and that's every day, because in this job, you can't make money unless you're in court multiple times a day if you're a trial lawyer. And so you're literally going, and it really messes with you.
So you just made me think of so many things, and thank you for sharing. I'm an avid reader. Like, I love to read, and it's a gentleman named Ta-Nehisi Coates, and he just had a book published, The Message, and of course he got a lot of backlash because he delved into the Israelite-Palestine situation. But what I'm gonna take from a snippet, one of his fireside chats in one of the universities, is he talked about how simplistic morality and ethics seem when we talk about an abstract, but the application of it could be so nuanced.
Right.
So it's like, it's always an ongoing quandary and conundrum. Like, where does the scale fall, and what's going on? And there's so much contextual things there that feed that. And that's one thing I learned early. And I say this in all humility. Like my grandmother said, don't make up your mind yet. And that was the root of doing due diligence. Find out what's going on. Get as much as you can first before being resulted. And then, of course, me being a big Black guy, I just put out there, I had a whole bunch of things assumed about me. You know, especially when I started, it's like, how long you been down? Been down where? Been in jail. I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
You know, I had tattoos.
They make the assumption.
Yeah. So, but what it does is give me empathy. And that's not to say I'm perfect, but I'm not trying to judge nobody.
Right. Right.
I don't even like using the word judge. I'll assess Brother Charlie based on my experience with Brother Charlie.
Right.
Not what nobody else says about Brother Charlie.
Right. There's a lot of people that say that, and I'm not suggesting you aren't. And the challenge is, I think people don't realize where that shows up. That's the grace that I think is difficult to give sometimes, is that because then you see what I call the cognitive emotional dissonance, that they're saying one thing, but their emotions are allowing them to make decisions that are against things. And so then that's kind of what gave me the insight into the somatic work that I do with my clients, because there's a place that you can find in the body where the precognitively, neuroceptually, the body is getting ready to go to fight, flight, or freeze. And you can literally start seeing in the facial expressions, when the microfacial expressions leave, that's the first stage of going into fight, flight, or freeze.